today I'll be talking about another common misconception that I often see my student make. Okay, so now I have a very simple example. Maybe you can just start with some common algebra. So over here we have A. So over here we have AB over CD times maybe EF over GH. Okay, and some of you may see this as, since it's multiplying, since we are multiplying, we need to cross multiply, which is AB times GH, and then afterwards your CD times your EF. We have to do this. If you are one of the students who do this or think about this, please come for my tuition. Okay. Okay, or you can just watch this video and understand that this is incorrect. Okay, so for multiplication, we have to do top and top. I always say top and top, bottom and bottom. Okay. So the correct answer will be ABEF over CDGH. Okay, and when do we use cross multiply? When do we use cross multiplication? So when I heard of students talking about cross multiplication, they are actually confusing it with addition or subtraction. Okay, so in this case, we have to cross multiply. Okay, it will be CDGH and AB GH plus CDEF. Okay, so notice that I skip a lot of steps here, but if I were to slow it down, okay, and make this more palatable for you guys, we have to, when we deal with fractions involving plus or minus, okay, involving plus or minus, right, we have to make both fractions have a common denominator. We have to make both fractions to have a common denominator. Okay, so right now you see here is CD and here is GH. They're not the same, right? So in the end, I need to make CDGH plus, and the other side will also be CDGH. Okay. Can move it here slightly. So this is end results, right? But how do we make the left side CDGH? Is to multiply both on top and the bottom. Okay, I will just say on top and bottom, but actually what I mean is numerator and the denominator multiply by GH, right? So it's just ABGH, right? And then afterwards, the other fraction will be the other fractions will need to multiply by CD instead, right? Because the other fraction already have the GH. The other fraction already have the GH, as you see here, right? So the component that they need is the CD component, right? And for this first fraction, we start with CD. We have the CD. And then what we need is the GH component, right? So see, they need different things. And if they need different things, right now we need to multiply by different things as well. So in order to achieve this CDGH, we have to multiply the numerator and denominator by CD, right? So on the first term, okay, maybe I call this on the first term, right? The first term, and I call this on the second term. The first term, we need to multiply by GH on the numerator and the denominator. But for the second term, we need to multiply by CD, right? Because they have different component, right? So if I multiply by CD on top, that will be CDEF. Okay, so now the final answer will be ABGH plus CDEF over CDGH. Okay, so this is when we use the cross multiplication, like what I've shown you just now, right? But I don't want you to use this term, or if you use this term, you have to know that it is only used for plus and minus. Okay, and if you don't want to use this term, I think that's even better, right? So remove this word cross multiplication from your dictionary and replace it with making a common denominator, right? Making a common denominator when you have plus and minus, right? So do we need to make a common denominator when we have multiplication? We don't need to, right? We don't need to make a common denominator, right? If I have, so if I have A over B times C over D, it's just top and top, bottom and bottom, right? So it's AC over BD. Okay, so this is for multiplication it's easy, for fraction, right? For summation and your subtraction, now you have to make a common denominator, and that's why people say cross multiply. Okay, but if you want to remove this term cross multiplication, that's even better, right? We don't need this term. So just we need to think, do we need a common denominator or not, right? When you assess a question with fractions, right? This also applies to your numbers. It doesn't need to be algebra. Okay, so I hope this clears up the misconception, and I'll see you guys in the next video.